I heard a quote once that's like, if you have money today, then you need to know how to use it so that way you have money for tomorrow. And I think that, being wealthy and being wealthy in the mind, if you're not that first, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
So I really want to get into the financial side of this and exactly what can people do, because there's probably a lot of people out there that are just screaming right now, that's great, I have the mindset, I know exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
How do I actually get it done, though?
Well, okay, good thing you got the mindset. Now, now what do you do with your money?
Exactly.
Right? Or what do you do with yourself? So now, if you want to get rich ASAP, let's just say you want to get rich in a year, you're going to have to take on a lot of risks. Mm-hmm. There's a few different ways that you can do that. Like you saw what happened with meme stocks and cryptocurrency blowups. People did get rich very fast. People who didn't have a lot of money, people who had a few $1,000s to their name were able to 10x, even 100x how much money they had very quickly.
Right.
Do I recommend that? No. But it is possible if you're willing to take on risk. When you're younger, take more risk than when you're older. But again, I'm not saying just throw your money into a random stock that everyone's talking about on Reddit or people are talking about on CNBC. Do your research. If you really want to become wealthy and sustainably wealthy, because the majority of people who try to follow like the hype are going to lose their money. It's gambling. If you really want to become wealthy, you got to figure out what it is that you want to do, right? So if you want to start a business, that's one route, but it's not going to be fast. Building a business is hard work. And it takes time. It takes years to really build a business. And what you got to understand is there's a difference between your business making $1 million and you making $1 million.
Right.
Because just because your business made $1 million doesn't mean that you're going to walk away with much money. Who was it? The founder of Nike, Phil Knight, wrote a book called Shoe Dog. Great book. And one of the things he talks about was when he was building Nike, the first year Nike made $1 million, he was broke.
Right.
He didn't have money to his name. Nike, his company that he owned, was $1 million company. But the money that the company made, he was reinvesting back into the company to buy more shoes, to create new products, to endorse more people. So he was reinvesting back into himself through the company. And so you got to understand that, if you're trying to build a business, you should not do it to get rich, because you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And you are not going to be able to build a successful business if you're doing it just to get rich, because then you're not going to be investing in your business. And if you're not investing in your business will not grow.
So if you're not doing it for the money, why are you building a business?
For the purpose, for the mission, the product. An entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur is on a bigger purpose.
Right.
Jeff Bezos wasn't just trying to get rich. He was really trying to revolutionize the way that we shop, and he did. Elon Musk, listen to him talk. He didn't do it for the money. If he did it for the money, when he sold PayPal and his other companies for $25 million, he would have gone out and he would have started enjoying his life. He took all of that money and reinvested it into himself, started new companies because he was passionate about changing the world. Entrepreneurs are crazy because they're trying to change the world. And you think about this now, it's not something that a rational-minded person would want to do. That's not an easy thing to do. But entrepreneurs are in the business of trying to change something. And so they have to have that passion. It's more than just the money, it's the purpose. If you don't have the purpose, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur.
And we keep saying, we started with rich and now you've kind of switched to wealthy. So I want to talk about what the difference is between, if there is a difference between rich and what the difference is.
I just like the word wealthy. Mm-hmm. English was my second language. You can put whatever definition on whatever word you want. Okay? When I think of rich in traditional terms, I think of flashy. I got the Ferrari, I got the nice clothes, I got the nice vacation, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. When I think of wealthy, what I'm talking about is wealth. It's not what you show, it's what you have. And to me, that's what wealthy is. So when we talk about the minority mindset slogan, where money minds rethink rich, it's the whole idea of rethinking their traditional definition of rich.
Right.
And so for me, wealth is building that freedom to do whatever you want. It's having freedom. There's a definition of wealth versus rich being rich is what you can buy. So rich is measured in things. Wealth is measured in time. Rich is whatever you can buy with all this stuff. You can go buy the nice car, the nice clothes. Wealth is how much time you have that you can do whatever you want without physically working, because now you have your assets paying you. And if your assets are paying more than your expenses, if your expenses are $3,000 a month and your assets are paying you $3,500 a month, you have unlimited time because you have that cushion, right? You're making more money from your assets than your expenses are. Now you got the time. So that's what wealth is.
Right. So wealth is basically being able to have things that pay you instead of actually having to work for your money 24/7.
Yeah. Wealth is freedom.
Right.
Wealth is freedom. Now, how do you do it? We talked about building a business, which isn't for everyone. The next thing, I mean, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of investing, it is by putting your money to work. And it's crazy when people say, do it in 1 year, because first off, every overnight success that you've heard about was years in the making. It takes years, not just of trying, but failure and doing new things and learning. Like before I built Minority Mindset, I tried a whole bunch of different companies. Some of them did really well. Some of them failed. And those are the things that, you don't see. Those are the things that you had to learn. I had to go through. I had to experience. I had to try. And that's what taught me all the things that I know today. And so you have to be willing to put in that work. And that's something that takes time. You cannot just go around it. Yeah, you can learn, which will save you time. You can take classes, which will save you time. But at the end of the day, you need to try things yourself. You got to do it. And if you're not willing to put in that work, it's not possible.
Right.
And so, you got to understand that, all right, if you're not willing to build a business, then maybe do a side hustle to make some more money, that we have more money to invest. We could talk about that later. But then now, where do you invest your money, right? I love real estate. I love stocks. I love startups. Those are the things that can give you huge returns. And then you have, your cryptocurrency and then your commodities like gold. We'll start with real estate. I am not a real estate flipper. I'm a real estate investor. That means when I buy real estate, I'm not trying to buy a property to flip it for twice the price next year. Mm-hmm. Can you do that? Sure. You can flip properties and try to make a lot of money doing that. But flipping is not for me. I'm trying to buy the asset so it pays me consistently, so I have a new stream of income. I invest in stocks in a couple of different ways. I invest every single week into ETFs because I believe in the American economy. It just puts money into the stock market every week, whether the stock market's up or down. That way I can just keep acquiring more shares in the stock market. Then I also invest in individual companies. Again, my goal with investing in these companies is not to see a massive return in 12 months. It is to own a company that I believe is undervalued, that I want to own for the long term.
Right.
Then startups. Now we're talking about more risky stuff. I invest in startups. It is risky because there's a much bigger chance that these companies can fail. But they also come with much higher potential returns, much higher potential ability to double, triple, quadruple, 5x your money. But again, very risky. For me, I like it because, one, I love entrepreneurship, as you can tell. I love entrepreneurs. I love the idea of creating something. I love the idea of building something. I love the idea of changing the world for the better. And I also have experience now, and I have a platform to help give exposure to the companies, right? So I like working with startups because that's who I am. Then you have cryptocurrency. This is a new way that a lot of people are trying to build wealth, again, very quickly. Anything from a financial perspective, we're talking about financial assets, securities, anything where you can get a 100% return in a year is going to be risky. Higher risk, higher potential return in general. Like sometimes you're going to see exceptions to that. When you see a market crash happen, your risk actually goes down, mm-hmm. and your potential returns can go up if you know what you're doing. Like when for example, the 2008 real estate crash happened, property prices went down by 95% in some places. If you knew what you were doing, you could buy properties with extremely low risk and extremely high reward. But in general, higher the risk, higher the potential return. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.